Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing fantastically well. I am back and I'm going to be sharing another movie review with you all. Now for all of you who like my reviews but don't like horror, this one's going to cater for you because it is of the drama kind of genre. Now lately I have been expanding my reviews into different genres because believe it or not, I don't only watch horror. So don't worry for all you horror fans, I'm still going to be doing horror reviews, but the reviews of different genres will be more common in the near future. So the film is a foreign one. Some things never change. It's Norwegian, Norwegian language, English subtitles, Norwegian actors. But I believe some of it was filmed in Iceland. So it's a joint venture, but it's Scandinavian. Released in 2006, directed by Jens Lien, and this one is called The Bothersome Man. And the story to this one is as follows. 40-year-old Andreas arrives in a strange city with no memory of how he got there. He is presented with a job, an apartment, even a wife. But before too long, Andreas notices that something is wrong. The people around him seem cut off from any real emotion and communicate only in superficialities. The ominous caretakers, who make sure the city runs smoothly, keep an increasing watch over Andreas as they find he doesn't fit in. The Bothersome Man is a fantastic fable, a parable for modern society's consumerism and obsession with appearances. Director Jens Lien plays skillfully with the spectator, entertaining him with stunning discoveries, abstruse dialogues, and a strong shot of young Nordic humour. So it's a fairly complicated story, but basically it's Jens. He's the main character. He is dropped off at this gas station from a bus driver. The bus takes off. He has no recollection of how he got here, but what he does know is that the gas station owner is responsible for taking him to his new home. So he gets to this city, and immediately this city seems a little bit off. It's very, very clean, and everyone seems to have an artificial kind of happiness. So he gets there, he has a very, very nice looking house, he gets a very easy, very well paid job, and he even finds a wife before too long. So things seem perfect, a little bit too perfect. And when he starts asking questions, because he starts to realize that everyone is cut off from real emotion, no one talks about their feelings. It's all based on appearances. So Andreas is starting to struggle in this new lifestyle. The food doesn't taste of anything. The alcohol is very watered down. He can't get drunk. So, things just seem a little bit odd. And when he starts asking questions, the caretakers, who are responsible for making sure this city runs smoothly, take more of an interest in Andreas because he is disturbing the peace. So the further the film goes along, the more alienated Andreas feels, and he starts going into a depression, and he really needs to find a way out of this city. So that's as far as I'm going to go with the storyline. If you want to know how it ends, then please go and pick yourself up a copy. Now, my thoughts on this movie. Massive fan of Scandinavian cinema, not just horror. They're really, really making inroads and making a name for themselves. So I had no expectation going into this one. It was a completely blind buy. So I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I had some expectation based on the fact that I love Scandinavian cinema. And I can say that this movie exceeded all expectations. It really got to me. And I didn't know straight away if I liked it or not because it was just that kind of film where you had to think about it. But I watched this yesterday afternoon and I'm still thinking about it now. It just really got inside my head. And as a result, I fell in love with the film. And this will go down as one of my favourites. Now, lately I have been picking up some gems in the foreign cinema world. And I strongly urge you all to go out there and see more foreign films because they really are making some very hard-hitting, soul-searching films, and this is exactly one of them. It is such a true film, and it's kind of like The Truman Show. If you like The Truman Show, you probably like this one. Although it's not set in a TV world, it has the same sort of artificial feel. It's all based on appearances, and no one shows really any emotion. When Andreas gets to the city, everyone has a fake smile slapped on their face. Andreas gets a high-paying job. When he goes out to dinner with his friends, no one talks about anything with a bit of substance. It's all based on objects. So if you've got the best-looking car, if you've got a great house, if you've got a great wife, that substitutes as happiness, and you have to believe it because it's face value. No one wants to talk about their feelings, and when Andreas tries to talk about them, then he gets in trouble. So it really does depict a real city lifestyle these days and how society tells us how we should live. And as a result of that, because we don't really know ourselves, we put that shield up and we say, okay, we're doing well for money, so it must mean we are happy. And so if you're not in tune with yourself, you really don't know that money can't buy you happiness. And Andreas realizes this, but no one else does. So as a result, it's a very perfect world, but the perfect world is also hell. He starts to fall into a depression because he feels alienated, which is so true to the real world, especially me. When I was diagnosed with depression, I started to feel a bit alienated because no one else would admit even if they had a problem, no one would admit it because that's a sign of weakness. And this film, there is no weakness. No one admits that they're wrong. When bad things happen, no one is worried. There's no hurt. There's no heartbreak. There are quite a number of humorous scenes in here that would shock the normal viewer, but because this world is so artificial, it doesn't shock them. So it's both funny and very scary at the same time. Some people have said that, sorry, my nose is really itchy. Some people have said that this is a mental horror film, and in a way it is. And I'm not going to give too much away because I don't want to give away the surprise, but a lot of people can make up their own minds when the film ends. It's just one of those films, and it just paints a real picture. And it's about depression as well. No one wants to hear about Andreas, so he has to fight his problems on his own. And there are quite a few elements of suicidal behaviour in this film as well. So it's a very eye-opening film, and as a result of that, I think it's a very important film. Everybody should watch this. It will go down as a classic, and it's just such a warm feeling that you can pick up these sort of films, and that filmmakers are good enough to portray such a strong message in what the world has become these days. The acting was great. Don't know who the main actor was. I can't recall his name, but he played such a good character. He didn't know what to do. He just went along with a lot of things, and you could really feel for him. You could really connect to the main character, because I'm sure that we've all been on the road where we feel alienated, that no one will understand our problems, and he just portrayed that sort of behaviour really well in this film, and everyone will get a connection with this guy, and he's a very likeable guy, and when he sees that things are getting a little bit out of hand, you want him to get out of it, because, as I said, it really does portray a real person, and I could connect with him because I've been through that sort of feeling as well. So the cinematography, excellent, very dull, bland and bleak. A perfect world, but no colour. Everything's very repetitive and everything's very robotic. So it's kind of like a routine. Everything is a routine. So just looking at that, you'd think a perfect world, you'd be very happy. But a perfect world would be hell, because no one has a right to say what they feel, because that will break the perfect sort of atmosphere. I really like the soundtrack. God, the soundtrack was beautiful. It really was. I've got a little bit of a trailer. It's not so much of a trailer, but it has the soundtrack. Listen to it, and it really does make the message sink in even more. There's a lot of humorous elements to this. I think some of it was a little bit lost in translation, but Norwegians will get a lot more out of it than I did with the humorous elements. But it really is a film about life, and a film about our struggles, and it's just done in a very unique way. The ending is a little bit confusing, which will leave the door open to your own interpretation of how it ends. But yeah, I mean, this is a brilliant film. It's a film that I feel everybody should watch. There is elements to it all. There are shocking elements. There are actually quite a few gory scenes that surprise me, but nothing that's going to shock you or disgust you. But it is, in a way, it's very hard-hitting, and it will make you think about your own life at the end of it. So a very good film from Scandinavia. It's one of the best I've seen, and I am highly recommending this one. This is an absolute gem. So yeah, I've pretty much covered everything there is to do with the film. So yeah, just a film about real life and appearances taking over anything with a little bit of substance. So a very shallow sort of world. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope that made sense. A very complicated film, but definitely a film worth watching. So yeah, highly recommended. Alright guys, that's it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.